There was a question on the call about, and I think we've got this before, but whether or not they would be integrating Starlink into the cars. And
Right.
Elon had kind of a funny answer. He said, "Yeah, we don't really think about that. It's not really like something, but you could just buy one of these phase array antennas and stick it on top if you really wanted to, and you can, you know." So I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of
and
interesting.
basically saying it's like just total overkill for bandwidth too.
He also
Was the
said
other
that like
thing.
you probably don't need this, but I'm one of those guys like I don't care, I want it. I don't need to go 0 to
Yeah.
60 in 1.9 seconds, but if I can, I'm going to, right? So, how many
Yeah.
more satellites do they have to put up there, Tim, before we can actually turn on our phase array antennas?
Well, they're at about 240 now, basically, and basically 4 more launches, and it'll be like operational asterisks or whatever. Like it'll be I think it was over 400, and it starts to have pretty decent coverage. But I'm still thinking by the end of the year it'll actually be a product that people can get already and available pretty much anywhere.
Have you seen these
crazy.
antennas? The phase array antennas you're talking about? Like, I've heard it being described about the size of a pizza box, but I've never seen a rendering of one.
Yeah, you've not. I got one here on the screen for you. I remember because when
Oh,
I
you did?
started,
Okay.
I started talking about it a long time ago, and people were sending me all these kind of things, like this kind of a,
Right.
yeah, I don't know, like this kind of.
It'll
a thing
be
here.
some kind of something like that, with their own built-in technology. And part of it's going to be how do you do this without really moving everything around, because you don't want motors that have to track for
Right.
years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a matter of how do you do that? But yeah, it'll be cool.
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Well, I think isn't
Hopefully
that isn't that part of the idea that you wouldn't necessarily? I mean, maybe you would have one on your house, but isn't the idea also that like they could just beam it down to one of these massive stations like this and then just kind of send it out via wireless like cell signal locally or something like that, so it's not like every single person needs one. It's maybe like in the neighborhood you need one, and then from there it
Yeah.
can beam it to you. I mean, it seems like it might be easier to deploy. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
if
and
it's cheap
for
and
ISPs,
easy.
like the idea would be potentially your ISP could literally tap into that, have a
Right.
more like industrial size one, and just send it out through nodes via fiber optic from that point on. Yeah, that is definitely, and I think for some places that'll be how it is at first before it goes direct to consumer. It'll likely be some of these smaller ISPs, these local municipalities and stuff that would be hard to run wires all the way up into the mountains and stuff. Like, oh, just stick one of these stations here, da-da, and
Yeah, I wonder if that would be what the actual go-to-market strategy is for Starlink, right? If you ask them, okay, so we've got the technical side and we kind of know the bits about how like technically it's going to work, but how are you going to package it up and sell it? Are you going to sell it to Tim and his mobile trailer, or are you going to sell it to just rural communities first, or are you going to sell it to cities, or are you going to sell it? You're going to set up the basic infrastructure and sell it to AT&T, and then I will just now have this AT&T 10 gig option, and my bill stays the same with somebody I've been with forever, and they get it from Starlink. Like, I wonder if there's going to be, who's going to be the
I think they
customers here.
That's a good
I
question.
think they want to be. I think they end goal is that they want to be the ISP.
Really?
That like you will
Yeah.
go to Starlink.com, sign up. You might literally go to a Best Buy and buy a receiver. Go to Starlink.com and boop, sign up and pay your bill or whatever, and that's it, and you're ready to go.
And is there any chance of anyone competing with this?
Yes,
Okay,
OneWeb?
tell me that.
but yeah, OneWeb, which has been going on for a long time, and I think their plans are to launch they do about 20 satellites per launch, and they're launching on Soyuz now or Proton. Someone remind me, but they're
that's
they're
Rocket
launching
Lab,
on
right?
No. Soyuz and Proton are Roscosmos.
Electron
Oh.
is the
Electron.
Yeah. Oh, 37 sats, Seth says. Yeah, I remember it's like about around half of what Starlink does per launch. And of course, launching on anything but a Falcon 9 is going to be more expensive. So not only do they have to build these satellites, pay for more launches because they're only doing, even if it's half the satellites, you have to double the amount of rocket launches to get your thing. Granted, it's going to be in a little higher orbit, so they won't need nearly as many satellites.
Mm-hmm.
But
that causes a problem, doesn't it? Because if it's higher orbit, it's a lower or higher latency.
Lower latency, higher latency,
right? Yeah, so that's
yeah.
I'm really curious. Yeah, that's cool that there's going to be competition because my initial thought was just like, okay, so Starlink goes online and then
Origin,
every ISP goes out of business. Like, why would you go anywhere else? Like, because they could literally offer it for so much cheaper, and it would just be better in every single way. Why would you? And this is the thing; it's a commodity, right? Like, I don't care who my internet provider is. I just care that it's fast and that it works. And it's so.
Right. No, and that's so that's the thing is that even if there are competitors, it likely will be a monopoly for the first couple of years because it'll be a while before OneWeb's fully up,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know how they can compete financially with SpaceX doing everything vertically, from the satellite manufacturing to the operations to the launches to the reusing of freaking rockets and
catching fairings.
Catching fairings, like all of the things basically that SpaceX is doing is going right into their pocket right now as the customer of their own satellites. Like, it's how can anyone compete, really?
Could they
but
eventually just say
Blue Origin,
we're not launching anybody's stuff anymore, and because it's so profitable just to do Starlink and forget it?
I mean, they could if they want to, but at the same time, a lot of customers will still want new boosters or have certain requirements. And, they have multiple launch pads. So
why not?
Why not just keep going, and maybe have those new boosters be ones for customers or slightly used, and they'll just keep using up the dirtier and dirtier ones, which we're seeing them do. They're using these boosters, 5 times, and
I guess
it's freaking awesome.
The vision is Mars, really, right? So I guess that's
right.
Like, if the goal is, hey, let's just make as much money as possible, an idea like, if we can dominate worldwide internet and become $100, $200 billion, even $1 trillion company just from this one thing, why would we keep doing this other thing? That's like the capitalist in me thinking like, yes, money. But I guess, if the goal is like Mars, then different motivation.
Right. And don't forget, Blue Origin also is talking about a satellite constellation. China is likely doing their own satellite constellation. So we'll likely see 4 or 5 major players, which now, I mean, one player putting up 40,000 satellites in a constellation is kind of scary. 4 doing it is like, wow. Yeah, we'll see.
Talking about China, so I mean, I guess one of the things about having literally internet raining down from space all over the planet, as Seth pointed out in Discord just now, that like one of the functions of it was to give internet to places that don't have much internet right now. Like it's available to everybody because it's just literally falling from the sky. And I know China likes to kind of keep everything, under their control. They don't want that free information out there and everything. So they're kind of known for that. But I guess the only way they could control that is to prevent people from getting the antennas.
Right.
I mean,
that would be
who's going to be making the antennas? Let's be honest. It's going to be China.
Yeah. That's a good point. If China builds the antenna,
it'd be obvious if you had one, right? It'd be like, hey, what's that? See Joe's house over there? What's going on? Hey, Joe.
Lots of people in China named Joe, I'm sure.
Kind of hard to hide, but yeah, that it could be something. It could be the great democratizer, democracy, or yeah.
Of course, we said that about the internet in the beginning. And it hasn't quite panned out completely, but
the internet. It's been mixed, I would say.
Mixed blessing.
The whole concept of the internet, it's like, yeah, there's good and there's definitely bad.
And then there's Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 8chan.
But I feel like speaking of Starlink, we should be talking about the launch. There was a launch yesterday.
I mean, you can lead a
it's
horse to
so-
water,
I
but
mean-
you can't make him drink. You know, I've been trying to push you.
I know you were. But yeah, SpaceX had a beautiful, flawless launch yesterday. Flawless-ish. There's a little bit of question marks on a few things. But in general, it was a beautiful launch. I didn't live stream because I was still there doing stuff with the telescope and some remote cameras, and just really trying to practice my ability to do live coverage in person in the future, and also just really, really honing in on that and not trying to overly stress, because setting up for a live stream in person right now is a mess. Jeb's a mess. But the only notable things were that so they actually caught a fairing. Congrats, SpaceX. They nailed one, and they scooped the other one out of the water. So 50, or 1 for 1, or wait, 1 for 2. Yeah, there we go. And the other notable thing was the engine, the actual booster itself, came down on the deck a little bit hard. And I'm going to try sharing this, but I'm realizing that my internet isn't the best. So maybe
You want me to look for it?
maybe, yeah, just go to the best is going to Elon's Twitter, and just scroll down a little bit. You'll see the footage of both the fairing catching and the clip of the booster landing. Now the booster landing,
Which it actually the video did not cut out on this one when it landed. It was clean.
This is the second in a row now that they've had like substantially better footage like this, and it's just like, good job, guys. So yeah, so you can see there that the booster appears to cut off above deck a little higher than normal.
Yeah.
And it then does fall, and the legs splay quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it squats, and hopefully the engine bells didn't, bink on the deck, and hopefully there's still enough room to get the Octograbber robot underneath there. But that was interesting. It was noteworthy. I mean, of course, the internet's looking for answers, and like, maybe it was a wave, and maybe it was this and that. I just think the engine cut off about half a meter too high, and it
Would
fell
that
more
be
than normal.
out of fuel, maybe, or?
It could be, but I mean, they know the amount of fuel these days, so unless something was like substantially wrong. Seth says that they could not use the Octograbber. How did we hear that? Do you have a source on that? I did not know that people
The
knew
Roomba.
about that.
For the non-space nerds like Tim, it's the Roomba, that Roomba bot that grabs it, makes it not fall.
I've never seen the Octograbber.
You haven't?
I imagine it has like tentacles.
No, it looks like a Roomba.
No, it's
dude.
not. It's not. It's only 4. It's called Octograbber because it grabs onto the octo web. So the 8 outer perimeter engines is why it's called the Octograbber, for holding onto the octo web. It only has 4 appendages, so it should just be the quad grabber. But yeah.
I just see as a little like baby Shuthlu like coming out there and grabbing onto it. I never say that name right.
Got a video here from Space Coast Steve.
Oh, from Steve. Cool.
Yeah. There's the I'm telling you, it's like a
Okay.
giant Roomba, man. It just comes out, it says,
Yeah.
"Yo, let's hang here. Don't fall off like
Yep.
the center core of every Falcon Heavy so far." Okay.
And it parks in that little garage there and goes and holds onto the booster. But yeah, that is in question. According to Seth, he saw it on Twitter somewhere that it's not able to go. I didn't see anything about that, and I don't know how that would be publicly available information at this point, so we might have to wait until it comes back into port. Speaking of coming back into port, I will be going in about 2 hours. It sounds like the fairing boat will be coming back in already. So I'm going to go film that and get footage of the fairing boat coming back in, because like I said, they caught one. They caught a fairing.
Mystery. Now, they should have. Well, I mean, I guess it's just for the video side, but like the scale of this seems odd to me, right? Like this thing is ginormous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't really
They're
tell.
huge.
It's just kind of like, I don't know. It looks like a helmet or
It's
something.
huge.
You know? Just like
No, that thing's the size of a school bus.
right.
Or you could fit a school bus inside of it. It's not the size of. It's bigger than a school bus.
How big is that flag then?
right. There's like
Jeez.
some issues here with the.
With perspective and GoPros. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
Little fisheye going on there.
Classic. Yep. But I mean, it was an awesome mission. Stand by because I'm working on a video about how we're doing all these like remote things, and the big telescope tracking that I was working on at in-flight abort. Really honing in on it for other missions too. So I'll have some cool footage of it. I cannot believe how close. Pull up Elon's feed again. He retweeted the video of how freaking close my telescope ended up being. OPT was very excited to see the telescope that they gave us being put to this good use. But it is like I was only 5 kilometers away, 3 miles, shot vertically, and it still won't even fit a third of the rocket in.
How dare you?
Oh, that's just dirty.
Oh,
That's
isn't that
naughty.
insane?
That
Wait,
is a naughty video.
just wait until you see it like properly uncompressed and things. It looks unbelievable.
Yeah, we're going to have to see it at Fully Charged Live this weekend.
Yeah, maybe I'll share it
Tomorrow?
there. Maybe I'll get screwed over because I didn't know that. Ben, did you know that we're talking at the same time?
Me and you?
Yeah.
I'm on
Sunday morning.
I'm on a panel though.
Yeah, that means we still can't see each other.
Aw. Well, I'll see you at night, Big Daddy.
Oh. Well, yeah, but
We're staying at the same place.
Still sad.
That video is sexy. All those people just listening to us in your cars with your kids, be glad that they can't see this because it's just naughty.
This is a little NSF dub right here.
Yeah.
It's insane. Is it, by the way, do you guys think it's not safe or not suitable for work?
I would say not
I've
safe.
seen both. I
Not
always thought
suitable.
It was not safe too, but I think
Not
some people
suitable
say
could be like a
suitable.
wide array of things.
Most of the things I did at work was not suitable for work. So,
Yeah. Well, Jenny gives me a hard time because she's, I'll come home and be like, oh, did you see the PewDiePie video today? And she's like, really? That's what you do? I'm here with 2 screaming kids. You're watching. I'm like, it's research. He is a genius.
do you have a Ruby play button?
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever what was the one for the 100 million?
It was a bro fist, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was like a special. Well, that's his logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'll do a custom one for anyone once you reach 100 million subscribers. So just, look forward to that.
Yeah. Give me a year or so.
Here we go. GoQuest is coming into port too. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at when I'm going to be able to. I think I'm going to miss the booster coming into port, which I'm sad because I'll be in Austin hanging out with you guys instead. But yeah. Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.